Longinotti is a sales executive for Avanti Software based in Calgary. He spoke with us about getting the most out of vendor relationships. Why is it so important for payroll to have a strong relationship with its vendor?
Payroll is a vital function for any organization. It's very important for the employees for obvious reasons, but also for the organization. And technology and services are vital to performing that task accurately. So you want to make sure that the technology and services that you have as part of your payroll process are never an obstacle. A good payroll technology should be like an extra set of hands. It should be a helper. It shouldn't be a hindrance. It's also important that you have a good relationship with your vendor so that you get the most from them. It's important to understand what it is specifically that you're buying from them and what to expect from them. And of course, knowledge of what's available in the market, even above and beyond what you're getting from your current vendor, is power. So knowing what the alternatives are is really important to keeping a vendor or a service provider honest.
How can payroll professionals make sure they're getting the most out of their vendor relationships?
A really important first thing is to have proper expectations. It's really important that you understand what it is that you've purchased in terms of service or technology and what you can expect from them. So understanding what their service levels are, what the standards that they enforce are. So that way you can quickly ascertain whether or not your expectations line up with their expectations for what they sold you. So that's the first thing. The second thing I think that you need to do is really connect with your vendor. So whether it's a service provider or a technology provider, make sure that you know who your rep is. So every organization that sells you a service is going to have some rep, whether it's a service rep or an account rep. It's really important to know those people. And obviously they change over time, so you want to make sure that your Rolodex is up to date. You also want to make sure that you know who to escalate to on those occasions when something comes up that's outside the scope of your relationship with your immediate rep. You want to know what the process is in order to escalate and get resolution to your problems or challenges. It's really important to keep in touch and to stay really connected with your vendor. So make sure that if they offer things like newsletters, that you subscribe to the newsletters. Newsletters will tell you about upcoming enhancements or features. They'll also tell you about service outages or maintenance that might affect your ability to perform payroll. So it's really important that you read those things. Make sure that you schedule regular meetings. So payroll professionals are extremely busy people, but it's not unrealistic to think that once a quarter or once every half a year that you can sit down and have a face-to-face with your account rep at your vendor, just to make sure that you stay in touch with them.
And what are the main factors that will lead to a successful relationship?
Two of the biggest factors, there's probably more, but the two ones that you have the most control over are communication and then just knowledge of the industry. I think in terms of communication, it's important that the communication be both ways. So you want to make sure that you're communicating your satisfaction level with your vendor, whether it's a service provider or a technology provider. And it's important that they understand your company too. So those meetings that I talked about earlier, that's a great way for them to get a sense for, what's important to your organization, what are the goals, short-term and long-term, how can their service offerings or technology help you attain your goals, how can they help you be more successful as a payroll professional. If you're willing to communicate those things, good salespeople and good vendors will help you with that. And then when it comes to knowing the industry, there's a lot of sources out there, ways to get up to speed. This isn't something you have to devote a lot of time to, but certainly attending trade shows is one great way of seeing what's on the market. And the web has opened up so many possibilities for doing research. It's very easy to get information about what the alternatives are. If you're struggling or if you want to keep your vendor honest, it's not a bad idea to let them know that you're aware of what the alternatives are. And to the degree possible, it's good to know how the offerings of competitors compare in terms of service and technology.